So just to kind of add my 2 cents in, I'm gonna kind of agree more with Morris on this.
Yeah.
Just because growing up in Atlanta and growing up in a community that was predominantly African American, there's a sense of comfort in knowing that your teachers are like you. When you guys have career day, they're going to bring professionals in that look like you. Everyone who supports you that is going to look like you. Your counselors look like you. Your principal looks like you. Everyone in your community looks like you. And so I think there's
Let him finish. Let him finish.
I think that it fosters an environment that may be a little bit more conducive for learning in some students if they're all in a setting that kind of fosters or that when they're surrounded by people of their similar background. Okay. um, One thing that I can't speak on to a great extent is how that reality is for a minority student that attends either a school that is predominantly white or predominantly Asian or something of that matter, because all of my close friends that I speak with on these topics, they all attended or they're from communities that are predominantly African American. So I know for me, it really made a difference when I'm taking courses and taking classes, even like AP level classes and honors classes, and I'm in an African American setting because there's an element of kind of oneness and togetherness. Um, Everyone is able to kind of achieve together being all African American. My teachers were African American, like I said. My counselors really looked out for us because there's a strong sense of urgency for education in the community in which I was raised. So um, there was a big support network of African American professionals and teachers. So I think it really helped me and fostered me in that sense. Um, Now, going back to how separate but equal was in the past, I mean, what you found was it was a little different than what it would be if it was kind of instated today. And if you think about it, in a lot of major cities, aren't we kind of at a point where we're separate but equal? There are a lot of schools that are 99%, 99% African American, and then there are schools within that same school district that are very, very close to being almost 100% white and other nationalities. So, I mean, today, are a lot of our public schools kind of in that setting where we're separate but equal?
But if you're going to ask that question, then I guess it'd be safe to say that those schools that are predominantly black are those schools that are hurting. The ones that are in these inner cities and they don't have a lot of funds and this, that, and the third, because for the most part they're in low economic statuses or whatever the case may be. And not to mention that the parents aren't even involved in these children's lives or involved in the school for the school to get more books or the school to get more computers or the supplies that they need. So I feel like if you're going to take a child and this child has, you know what I'm saying, the potential that we see in children, then I don't think they should be stuck in one setting. I think that if you're going to learn socialization skills, you need to learn that from all aspects, and you're not going to learn it just being around black people.
Exactly. Look, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna say that. Okay? This. This is this. Get into it. Look, I really wish that we would get past the fucking color of our skin. If everybody just strived to do the best that they possibly could do, would we really be having this conversation?
Oh, I gotta go off to Watsu, but finish.
No, let me finish. Would we really be having this conversation? Now, yes, back in the day we had slavery and everything. We fought for our rights. We got our rights. But now we need everybody needs to do them and try to do the best that they can. Now, yes, I came from a different community than most people in America. Prince George's County, Maryland, is the richest black county in the United States as a whole. So I've seen poor black people. I've seen affluent black people in my neighborhood. You know, I grew up with that. My elementary school was predominantly black. My middle school was predominantly black, but it was a little more mixed. And then when I got into high school, it was completely mixed. Separate but equal, technically, yes, it still is going on because we do have pockets where there are all black people, pockets where there are all Latino people, pockets where there are all Asian people, pockets where there are all white people. Yes, in that sense, yes, we still do have separate but equal going on. But I also have to say, go with Pat. Look, I went to a HBCU. I'm very proud of my HBCU. It helped me see people who are professional black millionaires who have made it. And, you know, it did give me a sense of self-pride because I also am black. But at the same time, when I got into the real world, it was a culture shock against what I had at a HBCU. You know, I'm used to interacting with all black people in a HBCU. That was a disadvantage because when I went into the real world, when I went into my accounting firm, I'm working with majority white people, Asian people, Indian people, and you know, I'm learning new things that I would have never learned when I was at a HBCU. Not to discredit the things that I've learned at a HBCU because I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, people, we need to get past this motherfucking color of our skin. Because at the end of the day, we all pink on the inside. Real talk. We all pink on the inside. Just do the best that you can do. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted this and that as well. This. You want who to get over the skin color. Now, granted, and I want to do a parenthetical pause for the people who watch this channel right here. If you're white, we appreciate you, and we're not talking about you. But you are not the majority. Okay? There are more people of other races that are scared of, and I'm going to say, yeah, scared of this race than any other. Oh, you want who to get over what? And when I say that, I mean, okay, if let's make it black and white. If the white people got over the fear, then that would be a big part of it. But if the black people got over it, then what would that lead us? Now, I'm not saying that there should not be integration at some point.
But when is the right time, Morris?
Let me finish. What I'm saying is segregation hurt us more than it did help us. I'm also saying that there is a feeling and a community that you won't get outside of your black schools. I'm not saying that your black school should not teach you that the world that you live in is just black. Now, I don't know. Wait. No, I don't know about Morgan, but I can tell you at Dillon University, we talked about other races. We experienced other races. And I don't know why it didn't happen at Morgan. I can't jump down Morgan back, and it ain't your fault.
That's a HBCU. I mean, we did have a few white people sprinkled here and there. You know what I'm saying? But again, my professors made sure to let me know that inside the real world, because I work with politicians, that it's going to be more that look like them than look like me. And I have to know how to interact. And I have to know how to speak. And I have to know how to make sure that I'm saying the same thing to the constituents, both black and white, and they both hear it the same, but differently. That wasn't robbed of me by going to an HBCU. So I don't understand when you say get over the skin thing. No, the same thing that we want to get against is the same thing that's helping us. Yes, it is our difference, but our difference also helps us. So get over your skin color. No, I don't agree with that. No, tell me how your difference is helping you. Please tell me this.
Because our differences, like you said, you're learning something from some of the other races when you got into your accounting firm that you may not have learned at Morgan. I guarantee you, whether or not they told you or not, they learned something from you as well. You're not going to tell me while as smart as you are, as intelligent as you are, as well-spoken as you are, that they didn't pick some things up from you as well. You're not, and so that's what I mean. Your difference, where you're your melanin is darker than theirs. They may have looked at you and said, "Watu, oh my, this is going to be an interesting conversation." But when you came in, you gave them your good boat shoes and everything else, and you surprised them just as much as anything else. What I'm saying is, you being black had nothing to do with your performance. I don't think that black schools necessarily had to segregate in order for the equality. Equality means equal on any level, no matter what color. So that means the same things that I'm learning at Booker T. Washington High School, the oldest black school in Atlanta, is the same things that I need to be learning at North Springs High School in Fulton County. And just because I live in the hood and my mama can't afford to get out right now, maybe I'm gonna be that breakthrough person. But I should be afforded the same equality education that the person at North Springs gets. That's all I'm saying.